Hi, I'm Christy. I want to talk to you today about preparing for emergencies in a new location when a loved one has special needs. Most families don't give too much thought to emergencies and the what-ifs and possible problems that can arise. And for many families, that's not a problem. But when a family member has special needs, preparing for emergencies can be a necessity. So what can you do to prepare? Where to even start when you think about this? It can be overwhelming. In my research, I came up with a few ideas for you. You can find links to these articles specifically on my blog at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This post originally posted the middle of July of 2018. The first article I talk about is from Courtney Westlake. I've mentioned it in earlier videos in this series, but I really like her list of emergency preparation suggestions. She brings up some things that I'd never thought of. Things like know where the nearest children's hospital is. And I'd say if your loved one is too old for a children's hospital, I would consider finding the closest appropriate hospital. She also recommends talking to your doctors and see if you can contact them after hours if something comes up. Bring more supplies than you think you'll need. Call ahead for any special accommodations that you need at hotels or restaurants or any place else that you're going. Sometimes you need to just let it go. You're on vacation and sometimes you need to be willing to lower your expectations and things that are a priority just a little bit because you're on a trip. Realize that all of this may be really tiring, but it can be very worth it. As I've said before, there's lots of good stuff in this article, and I've even bookmarked it so that I can find it quickly in the future. Another article I found is at care.com, and they make suggestions from a doctor about ways you can prepare for a trip. He also talks about other emergencies that can arise. One of his suggestions is to create a care notebook that has all the details that you might need in an emergency. He also makes suggestions for international travel. I think it's really worth the time to read this one. Now, we've been really fortunate in our trips with AJ. He's relatively healthy and he doesn't typically require any extra medical attention, which is also good because, as I've mentioned before, we like to go camping in the middle of nowhere, which means that medical attention can be pretty sparse at times. Now, we've also done things like SeaWorld and Legoland. We've visited family in other states. We've even visited Washington, D.C. Now, that trip was a huge success with both boys, and both of them talk about wanting to go back. We do try and plan activities that are not too far beyond his ability, and so this lessens the risk of an accident or an injury. But like we all know, accidents and emergencies are always possible. So my question for you as I end is this: what steps do you take to prepare for an emergency? Do you have any tips to help others? I'd love to hear what they are, and I'd love for you to leave a comment so that you can help other families. You can leave a comment here below on the video or on my blog. Again, that's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. While you're there, I'd love for it if you would also sign up for my email list. This will make sure that you don't miss any future content as it comes out, as well as any resources I think you might find helpful or any bonus content that I come out with. I'd also appreciate it if you'd share this with anybody that you think would benefit. I'd love to help as many families as possible. So as we seek to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best and not dwelling or obsessing on all the what-ifs, I hope that you can remember that life is good and there is never a dull moment.